This is LBC News.
Well, as the cost of living crisis continues, the government has announced that bus fares are to be capped at £2 a journey in England from January to March next year. The Transport Secretary says it was providing up to £60 million to help operators make it more affordable for passengers. Well, let's talk more about this with Alison Edwards, Policy Director at the Confederation of Passenger Transport. A very good morning to you, Alison. What difference will this make, particularly for people in rural areas, I'm thinking?
Well, I think this is a really, really exciting idea. So it will, as you've just said, it will help with the cost of living crisis for existing passengers. And as you say, that will be really important for people in some of those more rural areas, because actually there are passengers across the country already who are benefiting from the good value fares that are at or near this price already, particularly in some of the urban areas, and where they're buying maybe bundles of tickets, such as weekly or monthly tickets, and it brings that journey price down. Where those fares tend to be more expensive is in those rural areas with those longer journeys, where it's harder for an operator to be delivering a journey at or near the £2 cap. And so this government support here means that we can give those good value fares to a much wider range of passengers. And hopefully, for some people, we can give them a reason to give the bus a go for the first time and really see kind of what it's got to offer for them.
Because bus services are really crucial to some people in some areas of the country to get to work, to get to school, to go shopping, go to their medical treatments. The bus services are important, aren't they?
They absolutely are. And this is a recognition that, nearly 6 million people use the bus every day, as you say, to get to work, school and essential services. And it's really, really important that we make that accessible to people and we keep people being able to get to where they need to go. And obviously, operators welcome the opportunity to work with government to make sure that we can continue to do that through a cost of living crisis, through sort of spiralling costs that operators, just like other industries across the country, are facing as well. So, yeah, this is a really, really important initiative. It really recognises just how crucial the bus is to people, to communities, and how we need to really recognise that and make sure that people can access things. This is a kind of a 3-month initiative to begin with. We don't yet know what's going to happen after that. And, fares are just one tool that can make bus more attractive. So what we'll also be talking to government about when we get our new Prime Minister next week and a new Secretary of State, or, new ministers, is we'll also be talking about a need to bring in bus priority measures that can keep buses out of congestion, speed up journey times, and that can help operators to deliver services for less cost. It can help us then pass that, those low fares on to passengers for the longer term, and say, hopefully, if we can just show people through this period how attractive buses are to use and bring people on board for the longer term, then that can all help in the, keep bus networks sustainable and help us in the longer term deliver good services for people.
And just finally, I'm wondering how the pandemic has affected sort of work patterns, for example. How has that affected bus travel?
Well, that has had an impact on bus travel. So obviously during the pandemic, passenger numbers were very low because people weren't travelling. As we've come out the pandemic, some places are seeing passenger numbers, back to where they were before, which is great. But there are some places where we are seeing the effects of changed travel patterns. So people that maybe used to commute to work 5 days a week and now are only commuting 2 or 3 days a week. We've got people that are maybe doing more online shopping than they used to do before. And all of that is affecting passenger numbers. And that's why, the government support to help operators and local authorities keep bus services going, just while we try to figure out, what the ideal network looks like, try to work to bring passengers back, has been really welcome. And again, this sort of fares initiative that's kind of really eye-catching, really exciting, if that can help bring passengers back on board as well, again, that makes bus networks and bus services across the country so much more sustainable for the longer term.
Well, great to talk to you this morning, Alison. Thanks for joining us here on LBC News. That's Alison Edwards, Policy Director at the Confederation of Passenger Transport.
LBC.